Hey everyone, let's take a look at Mind Medicine, one of the main psychedelic companies that kind of has the mind share out there. And this was the first psychedelic company that I heard of as well. I heard of this when Kevin O'Leary started talking about Mind Medicine, and that's kind of how I came even into the space. Before I came into the space as an investor, I was just an enthusiast, and then having been an investor for since I was a kid, having been an investor, I realized that I need to be involved here. So mine was the first company that I wanted to be involved in, both to make some money, right, and also to also morally, also because I want to be involved in it. I think it's a great thing that's happening, and I want to be part of it. Um, Now, this is not financial advice. This is infotainment at best. Maybe it's useful infotainment, but it's mainly entertainment, not financial advice. So don't be foolish. But so I'm looking at MindMed here, and let's take a quick glance at what it has to offer. What are we doing if we're investing in MindMed? What are they trying to do? What are they trying to do? So right now they're not making any money. We know that. Now we can look at that by taking a look at their investor relations page, which I think is probably the most prudent way to go at first. So let's take a look at that. We scroll down to the website. We're on the website here. We're gonna scroll down. Let's see, about us. Where is their investor relations? Hmm. Download the investor tab. Why don't they even have? They should just have investor relations. Oh, they have investor relations up top. Now, okay, if you have investor relations up top like that, you're in an early stage company, right, dude? You should have products up top first, but you have this up top first. Okay, so let's click on investors and let's take a look at. We could take a look at their balance sheet and how much they're making, but they're losing money. Um, let's take a look at their investor deck. Okay, let's see. Okay. So they have, I don't know when they created this investor presentation. Let's take a gander at this. Oh, wow. Wow. This year. So they created a brand new investor presentation. Okay. So MindMed 2022. This is good timing. Great. I wanted an update. I haven't looked at them since beginning of summer. So let's take a look at what we have here and let's learn together. So let's see. Okay. Let's see if I can make this a bit smaller here. I'll make my face smaller on this end here. I'll move myself. I'll move myself over here. I think that'll be fine. Okay. So we know J.R. Ron, the previous CEO, is gone. So let's see what their leadership team looks like now. What are they saying? First thing, they're not even talking about their CEO. They're saying our leadership team. Oh, they are talking about the CEO. Yeah, our leadership team has decades of successful leadership, product development, and commercialization of pharma and biopharma. Okay, Robert Barrows, the CEO. We can go into detail on each one of these later on. Robert Barrows, the CEO. What do we have here? We've got an MBA, we've got an MD, Chief Medical Officer. Okay, I don't know too much about these people at this point. But what I want you to know here is that the companies that they're involved in and from. Look at these large companies: Bristol Myers Squibb, Johnson and Johnson, Merck, Barclays, Tufts Uni, Roche, Pfizer. So you got big firms here. You got big firms that these people are coming from. So we've got some serious institutional experience. That makes me feel comfortable if that's true. But I do trust them. With these SEC things, you generally have to trust them. There's severe consequences for lying, so it's beneficial for them to tell the truth. Then the research and development team also look what we have here: AstraZeneca, we've got Novartis, and that's pretty much it in terms of the names I know. But let's look at their business highlights here. Okay. So yeah, their mission is to deliver therapeutic psychedelics, novel targets. Yeah, okay. Anyone can put this PowerPoint together. Not too impressive. Urgent need. Everyone knows that already. We'll get into the details here. We don't need their numbers. We'll get our own numbers about that. or will conglomerate. This is what I want to see, their pipeline. So I want to see their pipeline overall. Okay. So they have, here are their pipelines. Classic psychedelics. So let me just make sure this is the first one here. Yeah, perfect. Okay. So it's going pretty slow. I'm going to need to upgrade my my computer here if I'm going to be doing the simultaneous recording. It actually takes up more energy. It takes up more things from the computer, more horsepower. It seems. Now it's going very slow. Okay, there we go. Okay, so multiple generations of psychedelic therapies. So we've got the classic clinical evidence of efficacies already, well characterized pharmacology, accelerated development potential because they're the classics, things that are already known. So pipeline expansion opportunities, expanded clinical indicators, psychedelics with the distinct PKPD, second generation optimized, so overcome safety liabilities, increased IP potential. So the second generation, they're saying, is going to be not just the pure classic, where it's so easy and well known and everyone's already taking it or has taken it. It's a well known thing. Maybe they'll add a little bit of their own touch to it, maybe some genetic modifications that'll give them the potential to have IP, intellectual property. From an investing perspective, that is a beneficial thing. From a non-investing perspective, from just somebody that wants to have everyone be able to access great therapies, that may not be beneficial. But from an investor's perspective, obviously the company is going to have a responsibility to try to get IP like that. So that's important. Let's keep going here. Um, and then the third gen they're projecting is going to be analogs of the classic psychedelics. They're going to be full development programs, and they're the ones that are going to be with the uh, with the greatest potential for intellectual property. So, so it's an LSD based substance here for the first one. They have an MDMA based substance. Um, so I guess yeah, those three tiers, and then how deep can we go within this deck? Ah, this is another key thing. So their current pipeline is phase two max. They haven't hit phase three yet. So their generalized anxiety meds. This is a key one. So this is the slide kind of I wanted to take a look at again. I saw the previous slide, but from I guess before summer at some point, um, I wanted to see the updated. So let's take a look here. So their MM120, their LSD based, kind of product for generalized anxiety disorder. It's already in phase two. Their same product tailored to ADHD is already looks like in phase two as well, and their autism med is in preclinical. Also in phase two is the opioid withdrawal meds, the opioid withdrawal meds that they're developing. Looks like it's HCL. I guess is that LSD? I don't know, or I don't know. We'll take a look at that. We'll study that a little bit too. Um, so, and then they have discovery and early development kind of programs, where they're novel tryptamines, novel phenolphylamines, and advanced drug delivery kind of mechanisms or approaches, I guess, that they're developing. And those are in preclinical, it looks like still. And then they have investigator initiated trials, two of which are in phase two. Um, cluster headaches, one of them, and the other one for major depression. And then they have a interesting MDMA study for healthy subjects that is in phase one. So nothing is in phase three yet. So what do these even mean? What are the FDA trial statuses? FDA trials. Let's take a look at that. Well, we're done with this slide here for now. We'll return to it. But FDA trials phases Let's see what they mean to kind of get a context. So a lot of like preclinical, a lot of phase two, some phase one, nothing in phase three yet. Stage three. But what is stage three? Um, so what are the four stages? Ah, Stage one is discovery and development. So there's the preclinical, then you do discovery of development, preclinical research, and then you do the clinical research. So I guess when you're doing that means they grant you approval to do actual clinical research when you're in phase three. So phase three, they believe you enough to say, okay, we're allowing you to go try this. Go. You have a PhD, MD. You have a reputable approach to studying it. Maybe we even reviewed the study. I guess go study it. We trust you. They would never do that with anything, right? You're not going to have them just randomly say whatever you want, go study it, right? To have the FDA, the U.S. government, approve such a study, they're going to have to do a ton of review, right? So by the time something even gets to phase three, it's already been thoroughly reviewed, and the risks are already well known. It's not like you start a phase three trial where you do a good big trial to determine if something works, like a big trial, where you're going to do that without knowing the risks. You're not going to be having people die left and right. You're going to have studied it in much smaller cases before, and you're going to kind of have studied the effects. In terms of psychedelics, we already studied them for thousands of years, though. We've studied them for thousands and thousands of years. We don't really need to go back and pretend like we don't know what they are, or like we haven't taken them. Many of the people that are using them now, that are studying them now, have used them. So it's not something where there's a major risk to it. What the risk lies in the probabilistic aspect of it. The risk lies in how these drugs will impact society at large when you have everyone able to take it, and you have that small group of people that are on the overall spectrum, like far towards the kind of psychotic side already, or they're already prone to have a psychotic breakdown. They're already prone to have psychotic or hallucinogenic, if you could say, or like those type of episodes. They're already prone to it, and so you're less likely. Um, those people are more likely, far more likely to have negative outcomes, and you're less likely to encounter them generally, right? Generally speaking. Now, when you say broadly, we're going to allow psychedelics, you do want to make sure you covered those people as well. You want to know what's the worst that can happen from a probabilistic perspective. That worst may not apply to somebody that's generally mentally healthy, but so I think that that's an interesting aspect of this from a layperson, where usually let me make my thing bigger for this. Usually I would be concerned if I was going to take another drug. I would be concerned more about I would be concerned more about kind of, when I take it, what's going to happen with it? When I take it, what will happen with it? So I'll say, okay, these clinical trials, I'd want them to make sure that, like, on for the average person, what the negative effect is going to be. But in this case, it's kind of already known what the average effect is. The kind of the real negative outcomes, they don't happen to the average person. The real negative outcomes with psychedelics happen to people that are more predisposed to kind of mental instability. And so it is actually important that the FDA approaches this in a way that I'm sure they know what they're doing. I don't think they need advice from me, but I'm just talking here, where I think the approach needs to be like, all like, from a overall population perspective, what are the percentages of people that are going to be so predisposed that it could cause very severe negative outcomes for them. But I think the FDA will probably handle it. I think they know what they're doing. At least they know what they're doing compared to me, and I don't know anything about that stuff. I also don't know anything about medicine, right? I'm not a doctor, and although I know quite a bit about investing um, and stocks, I don't know you, and so this is not financial advice. This is just entertainment. So take it as that. But yeah, MindMed does seem like they have a pretty interesting set of substances, and it looks like clinical research is potentially on the horizon for them. So after that, obviously after clinical research, I guess it's the final review, and then they determine um, whether they whether they actually are able, to approve it, whether the statistical analysis shows that this drug is really effective, and whether the experiment was good and all that kind of stuff. All the FDA nerdy stuff. So pretty awesome. Uh, yeah, that's that.